I think, even though I'm afraid of heights, I would love to be an airbender, right? Just because if you can control the air and you can fly, that's great.
There was a time bender. That's what I would want to be. Someone who could go backwards and forwards in time, and thrust his will upon like the way the clocks work. That would be amazing.
Well, I have a few questions for you guys. First of all, thank you for having me so much. My first question is specifically for Paul. Uncle Iris it's kind of part of the villains, but it seemed like a really honest person. He has his motives. How was the process of finding like the tone for that specific role?
Like everything else, it all begins with the animated series and the fantastic examples that are laid out for me there. So that was a foundation, that was a backbone, the blueprint as it were. But then we got some really, really beautiful scripts that were penned by Albert Kim and his team of writers. And that really did a lot of the heavy lifting for me as an actor. When you're given these tools in order to succeed, it's great. These are raw materials, you're looking at them, you're building something with it. And then you layer in, after you've done your work as an actor and done the homework, you're collaborating with directors and producers, and then your castmates as well. And you're rehearsing scenes, and everything it's a very organic collaboration, right? Because it's almost like you're making a baby here. And then once that's all done, and then you layer on the costumes and the makeup and the hair, and then the VFX on top of that, then you're really cooking. And so it was really easy in a sense to sort of get to the essence of who Iroh was, because like Daniel says, every moment, every decision was made was very thoughtful with the fans, the original fans in mind, but knowing that we were also doing an adaptation and we weren't hired to be, caricatures or just cardboard cutouts or puppets to sort of pretend that we were, just the animated characters. As live human beings, we have to, and as artists, we need to bring a bit of ourselves into it as we make that translation from two-dimensional to three-dimensional.
Thank you, it's so cool. Daniel, this one is for you. You obviously work on Lost, that is one of the greatest series of all time. It's the series that started like the golden age of TV. How is it working on a series these days compared to before, and more specifically on one coming from another media like cartoons or anime like is Avatar?
It's not my first experience, doing a live adaptation of, a live action adaptation of a comic book or a graphic novel. And I think so much of entertainment now relies on different intellectual properties and different sources of storytelling. And so I feel fortunate that I'm able to be a part of giving birth to something like this, it's nice that when you have such good source material that you can mine it for things, and you can use that as a foundation for a characterization. It's harder when you have to reach around to find a character, but when there's something that's right there, it's something that you can create, deepen, and explore, and that's what we tried to do with our characters.
So cool. This one is for both of you guys. And it's kind of a strange question, but what do you hope people see in both of your characters when they see Avatar: The Last Airbender?
That they're actual human beings. That's the biggest thing, that we're not two-dimensional cutouts. Not to say that the animated characters were, but you don't want to play stock caricatures, right? You want to portray characters that have real motivations and emotions that are believable, that are authentic, right? And there is that responsibility to the OG fans as well, because you need that familiarity as well. They cannot be so different from the source material that you alienate an entire group of fans. And so, we get a bit of that artistic freedom ourselves to portray these characters, but at the same time, we really need to be mindful and thoughtful of the source material. Because, Avatar, the animated series, there's a reason why there are millions of fans behind it and who are very protective of it. And it's our job as a performers to bring those characters to life, but to also inhabit them in such a way that they are believable characters, that they're humans. And I think that just makes for better storytelling.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think the other thing is that we because we're doing, a multi-season show, there are ways that we can be reverent to the original, but also diverge from what the original storytelling is. And I look forward to seeing, what happens when we decide to kind of diverge from it, and what the thirst from the audience will be to see us try and do something different. So I'm excited to see what's coming.
So cool. This is one of the last questions. This is a really silly one, but I'm really excited to make this question. If we live in the world of Avatar, like, what do you think, like, your element will you dominate, and why?
I think, even though I'm afraid of heights, I would love to be an airbender, right? Nice. Just because if you can control the air and you can fly, that's great. Because, flying up a hill with your luggage, for example, or going to a different country is way better than humping your luggage up, a set of stairs. If you can just zip up to the top, it's so much easier.
I have to agree with that. Like, who doesn't want to fly, But I would add one other thing. Like, if there was a time bender, that's what I would want to be. Someone who could go backwards and forwards in time, and thrust his will upon, like, the way the clocks work. That would be amazing.
That would be so cool. The last question is, Avatar: The Last Airbender has been so important for so many people, and there's so many people looking forward to this adaptation, to this live adaptation. If you could reach out to the fans and say anything, whatever you like, what would you say to them that they are so excited to see this adaptation of The Last Airbender?
I would say that, I understand the trepidation behind a live action adaptation for something that is beloved. And I know there have been previous attempts that haven't been well received. But I believe this adaptation has really hit the sweet spot in terms of being faithful and paying respect and homage to the source material, but also providing enough of a twist in terms of new content that the OG fans will be very, very happy about, because they will get something that they haven't seen before, with the addition of characters a little bit earlier than the old timelines to slightly different storylines. I think it really is something for the fans to celebrate. It'll be familiar to them. They'll enjoy it very, very much. And the coolest thing is, it will bring a whole new legion of fans to this beloved franchise. Right? And that's what you want as a real fan. If you love something so much, you want to spread that joy to as many people as you can. And that's when fans win, when they are really, really sort of sharing their love and their passion and spreading it all over the place.
I would just add that there's, I've been a part of shows and projects where, fans were disappointed. I acknowledge that we will not be able to please every single Avatar fan out there. I think that is more likely than not. But for those who are interested in watching it, and those who really do care about this franchise, if they know that there were hundreds, if not thousands, of people who were working their hardest to try and do justice to this story, and they did so thoughtfully and with care, whether you like it or not, the intentions to do right by the source material were 100% there.
Guys, thank you so much. You guys are awesome. I watched the first episode. Congratulations. It's so good. It's great. So thank you for this. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks. Glad you liked it.